Work hard, do what you're supposed to. Work hard, stay off the dope pool. Work hard, learn to say no to. Learn from the dark times that we all go through.
What's up, Dustin? How you doing?
Pretty
Dustin
good. How you
Lloyd?
doing? Yep.
This is my neighbor. He's got a bunch of cool cars. Welcome to the Get It How You Live podcast. I'm here with Dustin Lloyd. Just look at it, being able to cut it.
Right.
Here with Dustin Lloyd. He's my neighbor. He's a car enthusiast, a real estate investor, a entrepreneur, and he's came to drop some knowledge on you motherfuckers.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay. So I guess we'll get into, I kind of want to go down your timeline because you're young and successful. Fairly young.
I appreciate the young part.
Yeah. It's super successful for how young in the eyes of
All right,
society.
I'll take that. There you
know
go.
what I mean? In the eyes of society, it's a compliment either way. So you got a couple of companies, and you were telling me that you got started with the KeySmart, right?
Yep. So the way I started in KeySmart was 100% accident. I'd been fired from 5 jobs in a row doing detail at car dealerships, and I was honestly looking for the next one to get fired from, basically, because I didn't do well with being told what to do. I had a friend who was a locksmith. They're like, we need a guy just to clean up after us. And I'm like, cool, I'll take that. And I did the interview, and the boss, who ended up being my mentor and business partner at one point, we hit it off, but he had me sign the thing saying, okay, here's your job. And my job title was shop bitch. Took a $3 an hour pay cut, and my job title was shop bitch. But it turned out to be the best thing ever because it humbled me enough to be open to learn. And when there wasn't work to do, he would just be like, here, read this book, figure out how to make these keys. And it was just something that my brain worked with. So in a span of 6 months, I went from shop bitch to being out in the truck doing calls, working. And it was good and bad because then it made me be on call. So
It's a mobile locksmithing company.
Yeah, so we started as we were an insurance company, roadside assistance locksmith. So like you lose your keys, you call the insurance company that everyone has, and they send us out and we make you a key. They cover part of it. So it was a blessing and a curse because you're on call constantly, and that means you're just working. So fast forward. I got really good at it. I franchised off of him, moved to Fresno, had my own, and started making decent money. At the time, I thought it was great money. And it really was like a prison, though, because I couldn't leave a 20-mile radius of the center of that city ever because I was on call 24/7. And I really just owned a job is how it really broke down to. I just had to work. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid. The economy tanked. That was around the '08 crash.
Okay.
I had a property here in Sacramento still that was supposed to be being rented out, but it wasn't. Had a house in Fresno that we paid too much for. I kind of started to be able to make it through, but I was just struggling. Then I found out my wife was pregnant.
With your first?
With her first, and that changed everything. I can't just be struggling so I made the decision that, like, I've had people argue with me that was a bad one, but we filed for bankruptcy, put it all in. I got that discharge. We had the baby. We're still struggling though, because in that time, like, we lost the contract with the insurance company, and it wasn't really anything that was under my control. It was somebody else's say so, because it was a franchise, and the franchise, all of us lost it. So I had to struggle. We had 2 more. We had twins. So then I have 3 kids, and I'm like, I have no money. So I made the leap. I came back, closed that down, came back, and my mentor and turned into my business partner was kind of feeling the same. He's like, we're just killing ourselves. Like, we both had the realization locksmiths have heart attacks when they're 40 or 50 and they can't stop working. So they're like 2 days after a heart attack, back out working. Because you own a job, and if you don't work, you don't get paid. You don't get paid, you don't pay your bills. So there's something different. We got to do something different. So we teamed up, turned into a wholesale locksmith, which is, we do it different than anyone else. But basically, we went to auto auctions that are nationwide, provide keys for them. It was a long grind we both had to do. And I worked for minimum wage with 3 kids, just struggling. But it worked out. Unfortunately, took like 5 years before we really started taking off. But right around the 6th year, my business partner passed away. So we turned into this weird thing where he was the guy who would go out and he would sell. He would go to all the locations that we were trying to get to use us, and he would talk to them. And he'd make whatever promise he could. And it was my job back at home to make it work. So I had to take both those roles. So that's how KeySmart started. But it really was like the best thing for me as far as teaching me that just because you own a business doesn't mean you're a business owner. Sometimes you just own your job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my whole focus now, is to be a business owner.
That's a really good, interesting point. And talk about stress. I was just thinking about this earlier. I had a thought because it was, somebody on my timeline got fired and they were bitching about it or whatever. And it's like, so my last day job, I worked at a data center, very high stress. One of our clients was like I called them a Nazi bank. It's a bank like you and I couldn't probably go get an account there. There's like 6 of them. It's a super high-end bank, right? And so, I mean, you're in there unplugging wires, switching out shit. If you fuck up, you will be fired on the spot. There's no room for error. People don't fucking play with their money. You make, $23 an hour, and if you cost somebody anything more than what you're worth, you're fucking out.
Right.
And so, I hated that. That was always like the biggest thing that I hated, because it's like, fuck, I could just make a genuine mistake, and then I got nothing. And I never want to give anybody that power over me ever again.
Right.
That's some fucking bullshit. That's no way to live. That's
right.
That's where that major stress gets created, And so it's good that you say that, about you're owning a job,
right?
With no freedom.
And so you get all the stress of being the business owner and none of the benefits, and then you get all the negatives of being an employee and none of the benefits.
Yeah, because the employee, you get to fucking, as the employee, you go, well, that's someone else's responsibility.
I'm off.
Yeah, I'm off. Oh,
5
yeah,
o'clock, I'm done.
Out.
Out. The owner's like, okay, now I got to go home. I got to pay the bills. I got to do this and this and this, just to wake up in the morning and be the employee again. It's horrible.
Yeah, so listen to that, guys. For those starting your own shit. So you got KeySmart, and then you recently, I want you to talk about your because you're kind of going into our mentorship role.
A little bit, yeah.
With the royalty wraps.
Yeah, so I've gone through this transformation as I've been doing this, that I don't necessarily want to teach people. So it's not in me to just take my time, like, hand you the knowledge, because it frustrates me so much when I try to help someone and I tell them, like, here's what I do, here's why I would do it, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense, and they don't do it. So I can't be a teacher, but what I can do is, I got lucky in the fact that I found someone willing to take a chance with me and help me grow. So I'm trying to find people like that. So now it's my goal is finding people like the wrap company. We just started Royalty Wraps, where it's a long story how I found them, but these people are like amazing at what they do. They just never really had a break as far as like someone believing in them or backing them to start their own business. So they've always just been the employees helping someone else grow. But then when they start to feel like maybe the business owners, when they feel like these people are maybe getting a little too well known, they move them out. So they're constantly just rolling as independent contractors from company.
So they don't get their business taken?
Right.
Gotcha.
So I found them. Yeah, I found them and talked to them. I just paid them to pull the wrap off one of my cars and talk to them to see if they were interested. Some people they're made to not be owners, but they were into it. So we set up a partnership, which I love partnerships. They're a headache and a blessing because you have someone to share stress and ideas with and stuff like that. So every business I've started has been a partnership. They don't always end up as one. One of us will buy the other one out or whatever, but starting up, it's nice to share that stress.
Yeah.
But so right now we're starting this up with them. They're working their butts off, but I'm trying to teach them not to own a job. So it's the biggest thing is the mindset shift from employee to owner. So it's hard for me sometimes because I've already made that mindset shift, and I have to give them the time to actually understand and like grasp the concept, not just do what I say, but like actually grasp the concept of what I'm saying. So they're in the mindset shift right now, but I'm super excited. We signed up. We're doing a 5-year agreement where at the end of 5 years, like 50. They're 51% owners. I'm 49%. So instantly they're majority owner because they're doing the work. It's their expertise. I'm just the business side of it, and they are. In the 5 years, it's up to them. Are they going to buy me out? Do they want me to stay on? And if they want me to stay on, we'll negotiate the role from there. But basically, I'm going to start helping people. Roughly every 5 years, they get the option. If they want me out, I'm out. There won't be no hard feelings. There'll be nothing. But I just want as many people as can fulfill their dream of being the owner of a business. But I'm trying to get them there understanding, from day one, your business should make money. And so I'm showing them how to make that happen. So in the process of writing a book, too, about how my systems work and what, over many mistakes I've learned, works for me to make it profitable.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because there's some industries like, okay, you start this business, you're going to be losing money for a year or so. So
Right.
talk about that a little bit.
So
how would somebody in an industry like, I mean, okay, you open up a restaurant somewhere, like it's gonna take time to build those clients
so
and stuff like
you
that.
open a restaurant and you sell, someone's bill is $50. $5 of that dollars needs to go right away into a profit account that you don't touch. You're instantly profitable. Now, if the rest of your money can't pay your bills, you've set your bills up wrong. You're too big of a restaurant, you've got too much staff, something's costing you too much. And I've gotten arguments with people like, you have to lose money. You don't. You're not in this to drain your savings. I've done that. There's no worse feeling than you think you're making all this money and you're draining your savings account to make it work. So I don't subscribe to that because I've been in that stressful, horrible world. And anytime I make a deposit, a certain percentage goes into an account. It's my profits that I can do whatever I want with. I choose to only touch them every quarter to make it more rewarding, but
It's part of the discipline.
yeah, and you can't just go like, oh, I want to go buy a new iPhone. I got money here, let me go do it. Like, I have to wait.
Right.
And then it's like, it's nice, right?
Well, then
It's a bigger chunk of money.
Well, then it's better, and that just goes into like society in general now is because everything is instant. I mean, every fucking thing is instant, and then all we see is people's highlight reels online, so it puts the pressure on other people who some people succumb to peer pressure harder than others,
Right.
and those that are programmed to succumb to it harder, they really feel that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so it's like the pressure of all that shit. I just lost my train of thought. Stupid sound.
But yeah, the peer pressure, and Instagram's the worst. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
my favorite one
Yeah.
because they're like, I don't have to read the caption if I want. I can look at everybody's pretty picture, but I just look at it as pretty pictures. I'm not like, man, if only I could have that. I've got my own pretty pictures.
Right.
I don't need to like try to grab theirs.
Well, what I've learned too is because I really, and we were talking about this a little bit yesterday. I used to really be jealous about like I kids that like it's like, damn, they don't have to do anything and they're out on this vacation, or like I had a homegirl, she hooked up with some older rich dude and they're living in Florida like on a houseboat and shit, and just like, I mean, this is a party every goddamn day, and it's like. See, old me would have been jealous of that. Like, damn, all you got to do is suck a little bit of dick, and this is what you get.
Right.
But then it's like, no. She's gonna get chewed up, spit out when he finds another 20-year-old in 5 more years.
Yeah, she's gonna be 30,
and then she'll
expired.
have nothing to show for any of that shit. Nothing. So once I realized that, it's like, oh no. You got to put in the work now. And then you can reap whatever your fruits of your labors are.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you don't do it now, you're going to just keep prolonging it, and then that's how people become, 40-year-old losers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started being a locksmith when I was 20. I'm almost 40 now, and now finally people are like, oh, look at him. He just makes all this money. He's young. I'm like, man, I put 20 years in on this.
Yeah, they call it the overnight success it took 10 years to make. You know what I mean?
I've been grinding away for 20 to figure this out. And now all of a sudden,
Yeah, you're lucky.
yeah.
That's my least favorite. I hate it. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky. No. I guess I'm lucky in the sense that I was able to look in the mirror and go, this is wrong. And now I got to figure out how to fix it.
Well, the harder you work, the luckier you get, right?
Yeah,
And
it's you creating those you put that energy out. It's real. You know what I mean? Like
when your mindset's open enough to recognize an opportunity and grasp it and know what to do with it. If you're just too busy looking at everyone else being jealous of them, that opportunity was still there. It's just gone.
Yeah, and that was on to the next guy. The
Yeah.
guy who was ready for it, he got that opportunity.
Yeah, he saw you not looking and like, Psh, I'll do that.
Yeah,
and then
I'm on it.
that's the next guy you're jealous of.
Mhm. Of course. And because I don't know shit about real estate investing, if you want to drop some for somebody who doesn't know anything, who is semi interested in that aspect of investing, what would you tell them?
All right, so that one, like, I know about a pinky size of what there is to know about real estate, but I'm smart enough. My business partner in it knows everything, right? Like, he has an online education class that just purely teaches people how to get financially free through real estate. He has another one that's just financial IQ based. Like, so he's good money numbers guy. He's good mindset guy. So I got lucky because I saw the opportunity to partner up with him in it. And so it's purely my retirement, because that's one thing when you're a business owner, you got to understand you're not an employee. There's no 401k with the business matching your input. You got to make your own retirement. So that's mine. I put most of the time it's my profit account. That's what I choose to do with it, is I buy real estate in Akron, Ohio, and they're cheap is why. Like in California here, a cheap investment property is $200,000. We just
And that's dirt cheap.
Right, and we just purchased two houses for $24,000 total, so $12,000 each. They're rented for about $700 each. So how fast am I going to pay that investment off? Pretty fast.
God damn, man! Look at dropping the knowledge on you, motherfuckers. Go get a house in Ohio.
Hey, just hit me up. You don't even got to do deal with the toilets and tenants. That's the cool part. Is that the way I got into real estate was this guy that before he was my partner, he's like, hey, I got this house here. It's $20,000. Do you want to invest with me? So basically, I gave him $20,000. I got a really good deal on that specific one. I got 12% interest only. So that means $200 a month with no end date for giving him my $20,000, and I still get my 20 grand back. So
yeah, it's a win-win.
It's called owning the note. So you're the bank. Instead of me going to Wells Fargo and getting the loan, going to you give me $24,000 for two houses. I pay you whatever percent, we negotiate, and you just get paid. And if it's long term, it's like 10, 20 years of that money. You can guarantee you're going to get $240 a month for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Now start compounding that, and all of a sudden you can make, $3-4 grand a month without working. So you can do your normal job, and that's just money coming in that you can pay your house and your car with, and then all your money goes to whatever you want it to go to that you normally get with your paycheck.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna insert some clapping sounds in the back. So how long you been doing the real estate, or when did that opportunity arise for you?
So I'm in an entrepreneur group, and they have a contest, and the contest is really you set goals and you have to achieve them, and you have to document your weekly results towards your goals.
Did I play a game called Cash Flow?
That's part of the real estate one, but this one, there was top 3. It was 100 people. We got down top 3. He was one of them. They took us out to Miami to show us off. We were saying we're the prized show animals at the fair.
Golden Goose.
So yeah, they're sitting us in a car, driving us to this place. We have to smile and wave. But the car rides in Miami, there's lots of traffic. We started talking. He just telling me what he did. I told him what I did. And so he's like, oh, if you're interested, I'll hit you up when we both get back home. He gave me 2 months, and then he hit me up with this deal. So I just recognized, hey, like I was saying, locksmiths have heart attacks when they're 50 and they have to keep working because they don't. So I'm like, I need something. So my idea was put the 20 grand there because I'm going to be dumb. I like watches, cars, and houses, and not houses at the time. Watches, cars, shoes. I'm going to end up with a bunch of those. Or I can get $200 a month, put it back in the account. Eventually I'll get my 20 grand back because at some point he's going to not see the value in holding that $200 a month with no end date. But say it was 1,000, say it was 10,000, another 20,000. I still get my 20 back, and the rest was profit. So it was just going to go into account. Then I funded another one with him, And then we were about to fund another one, and he's like, why don't we just partner up? So in a sense, just me being open and understanding and asking the right questions with them made him want to partner up with me. And then probably just us talking, we became friends. He's like, oh, this guy's a good business guy as well, so it would only benefit him too.
Well, and that's I'm going to hit it with a good segue here. Picking your mentors. You choose your own mentors. They don't know it, but you have the ability to choose your own mentor. Like for instance, the guy I'm doing the Rottweiler stuff with, right? Mm-hmm. I bought a dog off him 6 years ago, and then so I was his customer.
Right.
And then when I quit my day job, he's got a bunch of shit going on, and so I was like, hey, dude, that job I told you that I hated, I quit. So if you got any extra work, fucking throw it my way. I don't care. My pride. There's no pride here. Fucking whatever you got, I'll fucking come out and do. He goes, okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind. 2 hours later, he texts me. He said, hey, you want to train a dog? He said, I'll pay you $500 a month, and I'll pay for the food, and then she'll live with you. Nice. And I was like, fucking run it. Let's go. So then I did that. Did that for 2 months. He got the dog back. He got it. We did it all correctly. Everything that he paid for, he got. I was really nervous because that was my first time doing that kind of shit. I was like, fuck yeah, I can do it. And I was like, I don't know. We're going to fucking find out. And that's the other thing, too. You guys need to not be afraid to fucking roll the dice as long as your name's not going to get catastrophically dragged through a pile of shit if you fail at whatever it is. You know what I mean? But anyways, I trained another dog of his, and then I was out there training 2 of his. I would go out there twice a week and be training the dogs. And then so he ended up giving me these ones, and now we're in a partnership with the breeding. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, but I said, John's going to be my mentor. I didn't ask John if he would be my mentor. I just kept showing up and on time and fucking working harder than I needed to. You know what I mean?
Adding value.
Yeah, adding value. And then now, we talk shit to each other and joke around and shit, and we're it's my buddy,
Yeah.
And so, that's big for anybody else out there, because I think a lot of people are, they're lost, but then also, like some people can't watch a YouTube video and get that shit from
right. Well, and the biggest thing is don't just say, hey, will you be my mentor? That adds no value to the person. So if you want someone to be your mentor, you don't have to ask them. Figure out a way you can add them value and then offer the help.
Exactly.
And then put in the work, and then it'll naturally happen.
Right. And
just to ask someone doesn't ever work.
No. Because you gotta show them something. Like, well, what the fuck? Why am I? I'm already good over here. Why do I need you?
Don't try to steal some of me.
Right.
Give me something. Add to me, and I'll give you. That's the one thing I've learned. The higher up I get in business and everything, when you start talking to other business guys, they're not selfish. They're gonna want to help you back, but you have to give them something. And one of the guys I follow on social media, YouTube, everything, his name's Manny Koshman. He's a big real estate guy down in Southern California. He's huge. He had a good quote that really stuck with me, and it's you need to love your failures as much as your successes. And the reason you need to love your failure is because it's an opportunity to learn. You never learn from a success.
Never learn from success.
You only learn from failure. So if you fail and don't learn from it, then it's a failure. If you learn from your failure, it's no longer a failure. It was a lesson. Why do you think
that is? You think it's because once we succeed at something, we try our best to automate it in our head. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So that's how it's going to go from now on.
You're not going to try to improve upon it.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do is when things are going good, make it better. And that's half of what I do now in my businesses is, yep, things are going good. I used to just be cool, let's wait for a mistake. But then it's too late. So if you just start if you find the little mistake, find the root of that mistake, fix it, you'll never get to the big problem that's catastrophic. It feels like you're constantly putting fires out, but you're putting little baby fires out. And not the state of California on fire.
Right. It's I used to work on radios, and they call it PMI. It's a preventative maintenance inspection, and so it's all PM, all preventative maintenance. You're just constantly just tightening fucking bolts down here and there, so then the lid never blows off.
Right. And if you're not improving, you're dying. Is how I look at it. You better be constantly trying to improve, streamline what you're doing, or the next guy is. It's like Michael Jordan shooting free throws when no one else is. He didn't need to. He knows how to make a free throw, but if he didn't do it, someone else was, and they were going to beat him, and he'd no longer be Michael Jordan.
Yep. No, that's super real right there, and that's like a mindset that I've taken on with this whole challenge, the 75 hard challenge. It's like, again, I was talking about my roommate and stuff. My roommate I love my roommate, but he likes to party and go out and have fun. That's not what I'm doing right now, and so it's like I'm watching somebody not progress, not progress. He's doing fine, pays his bills early, fucking makes pretty good money, whatever, seemingly happy, whatever. But not progressing. And then here I am literally working day in and day out to progress.
Right.
And it's super apparent, you know, and it's like...
It's tough, too.
Yeah.
Like to watch, because you want him to be there with you. You like him, your friends. You're like, come on, man. Just can't force it.
Gotta lead by example.
Yep.
I had a roommate here. We all three lived together. Shit got really bad. This was right when I quit drinking because it was just, I was fucking just drinking and doing a bunch of drugs, and I was not consistent. I've always been a pretty good guy, you know what I mean? It's just like I was just lost. Anyways, I waited 6 weeks after I quit drinking to tell my other roommate, who I thought needed to fucking slow down anyways, to slow down. Because who the fuck was I to tell him? You know what I mean? Like, we were just drinking last week, So I waited, and it's like, you try and lead by example. It didn't end up working. Basically, with that story, he paid me. He had fallen behind, and then he paid me. But by the time he paid me in order to stay here, I had said so many awful things about him. I mean, seriously, so many. And I just told him to his face, and I was like, dude, I've talked way too much shit about you, bro. Like, I really have said some foul shit, and I'm not gonna. I can't sit here and have you here, dude. It's just, I don't feel that way about you, but I have said so many bad things that it's just like, dude, I can't sit here and just be bashing someone and then not be nice to their face.
Right.
Like, that's the worst of the worst. For what? A measly $500 a month?
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, not at all. So where do you come from?
I was born in a small town in Idaho called Rupert, Idaho. We moved around a lot.
What did your parents do?
So my parents got divorced when I was, second or third grade. My mom worked retail in malls. My dad, he jumped around from, he worked at a grocery store. He worked at, Suburban Propane. He worked at a fertilizer place. But around 5th grade, he was sort of to the point where he's like, I can't live my life this way. We're dealing with, dangerous stuff. And so he actually went back to college. And it's been a huge, I was just talking to him, they were here visiting, and I was like, you don't understand the level of impact it had on me, that you were so willing to, he had 2 kids, older, we're in 5th, 6th grade, just be willing to tip your life upside down and be poor, because we weren't rich, but we weren't poor at that time, and just chase your dream. So it's never too late. That's all it really taught me. I was the fact that you were so willing to do that and put in such hard work, because to be out of school that long and go back and have to do math you never had to do and all that stuff.
Well, and then to swallow your pride too and go, fuck, okay, because what it is it's like I've done this for so long that this is, most adults, there's no re-educating.
Right.
They go and they learn one thing and then that's it, and then this is what we do now. This is what I do. So to be able to stop and go, fuck, I got to go learn something else.
Right. So he did that, and it was a huge impact. My mom made the choice to let us be with him because she thought that was just better for us, because she was chasing her. She had my brother on her 17th birthday, so she was young. She kind of got to go be the kid she never got to be, and then still be a mom. And so it was it couldn't have been a better scenario for the things that happened. So I have a hard time sometimes with people well, my parents got divorced and it ruined me. I'm so did mine. Sometimes it's for the best.
Yeah.
It's they weren't meant to be together. It's fine.
Right. Well, why? So on the flip side of that, my parents lived in a fucking loveless relationship. They slept in different rooms for 27 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's no way to fucking live either.
Right. So that's doing just as much damage as your parents
if
leaving.
Not more.
Yeah, if not more, because that's what you think's normal.
Yeah.
At least my normal was if it's not working, you can fix it. There's always ways to improve your life.
And do they hate each other, or is it a mutual thing?
No, they're
exactly.
good.
Exactly. See, and then there was not a bunch of fucking bullshit going on.
Right.
Whereas I sat in the same house with 2 people who didn't love each other.
Right.
And that's just not love. So it's not good.
Right.
So hey, if your marriage is going bad, just get a divorce. So you're in Idaho until what age?
I graduated high school in Pocatello, Idaho. My junior year, my dad graduated college. He took a job so I could do my senior year at the same school. And
That's love.
as soon as I was out of high school, he moved to Alaska. His dream to live in Alaska. So he lives up in Alaska. He teaches at the very tip top of it. And he has a cabin in Fairbanks because he's a teacher, so he's got the summers off. Elementary school.
Cool.
So it's cool for him. Like, I've gone and visited once, and I was just like, man, this is horrible.
Did you go in the summer or the winter?
I went in the summer, so it's daylight. Like, you could be walking around 4 o'clock in the morning. And
Is
it's
that like 30 days of night shit?
Right, so while they were here, everyone was excited because it was the last day of full sun, like the longest day, so it's going to slowly start to work to dark. So
And then it's all dark.
I went to college in Pocatello for a year because I just thought that's what my parents did, right? So I was supposed to do that. Well, that was the college. It was the college in the town I went to high school in. So I knew the place that would sell you booze.
It's high school senior.
I knew where to buy weed. I knew where to buy the other stuff. I knew everywhere to go. So then I moved into the dorms because my parents moved away. Everyone found out I was from there. Like, where do we do this? I'm like, I'll show you, but I get to be involved somehow. Like, you got to buy it for me if it was something I was into. If not, I get to go to the party or just whatever. So I did lots of partying and having fun and none of the school part. So I've got like D's and F's the first semester, and then I had a petition to stay there. And they're like, all right, well, you have to get a C average or you're out. I got D's and F's again because I just doubled down on the parties. And I didn't think they were serious. Like, who's going to kick me out of the school I'm paying to go to?
Right.
They did.
I just emailed my grievance letter to get back into school. At a school that, well, I'm not paying for, but the government's paying for, so they know they're getting fucking paid.
Right.
So, hopefully I can continue to go to school in San Francisco, and I don't have to be banished to the fucking Sacramento fucking low tier. It's not low tier. It's nice. I've been to the Art Institute here in Sacramento. Just a couple of my friends' projects. They have a really cool, they have a room that's basically like a newsroom.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? With multi-cameras and a big control board and all kinds of shit. Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping to get back to school in San Francisco. So what would you tell? Because so in society, and I think the whole college shit is dying. It's not dying. Whole it's like they've always emphasized since the day you're fucking born, you need a degree.
Right. They tell you from a kid, go to college to get a good job to make money.
Well, they need you to be integrated into this system.
You got to stay in the system. They're teaching you to be an employee, and it's just, they're going to wait till you're 21, 22, 23 before they let you out, because by then they're for sure you're an employee. You're going to follow the rules and do what you're told.
Yep.
So
what would you tell a kid that's on the fence of going to school or going into the workforce?
What do you want to do? That's the first question I ask it, because people hit me up on Instagram all the time. My Instagram's kind of weird because I always put pictures of my cars, but I try to say something business related or something meaningful besides look at my cool car.
Right.
I just use a cool car to try to get you to read my stuff. So I get hit up a lot with kids like, well, should I go to school? I'm like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a doctor? Go to school. Do you want to be an accountant? Go to school. Do you want to be a teacher? Go to school. Do you want to just own your own business? You don't need school for that. Go learn how to run a business from someone running a business, not a teacher who teaches about running a business. If the job you need requires school, there's no way around it.
Yep.
If you're not sure
biology,
what you want,
go to college.
Right. If you're not sure what you want to do, go get a job. Don't like what that is? Quit. Get another job. Quit. Get another job. Don't be afraid to be poor till you find what you are meant to do. If you don't know, it's okay. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do.
Right. Well, and it's you'll be poor in money, but if you're finding what you want to do, eventually, once that all balances out and you're able to pay your bills off what you like, you're rich in spirit. And I don't mean to sound like a cornball, but once I figured out I can't rent my fucking time out to somebody else to do some other shit, I ended up starting to do a bad job, and I don't do a bad job.
Well, it's like doctors, right? What do? They go to school, all this stuff to sell you their time. Time's really valuable, so they make good money, but you can cap that out, right? You only have so much time.
Right.
That's where doctors get stuck. Is when you cap it out, the only thing to do is raise how much your time's worth. It's to me, that's a horrible existence to just literally my time's worth X. If that's not enough to pay what I want, okay, then we raise that. Then what you got into being a doctor for, which is helping people, you can't do because you've overpriced it to where you can't help them. That's why I didn't go that route. But
Yeah, it's a yeah, and the doctors. I mean, there's there's some of these surgeons and shit are just insane. I mean, they're artists, at the same time.
At the end of the day, they.
I got a good podcast. So, I'll send you a link to it. He talks about this because he was like, yeah, even doctor. It's the guy. His name's Naval, and I can't spell it. I can't pronounce his last name. It's a fucking gnarly Indian one. But he started. I think it's called Angels List. It's basically where startup companies can all come together. Where they have employees, an employee pool, basically, that they can hire from, and it's where investors can come together and start their own shit. So he created this in 2010. He was saying that the fucking doctors and lawyers, he said most of these guys don't ever end up getting rich because as they make more money, their lifestyle goes up.
Right.
And so now the bills are bigger.
Yeah.
Yes, they're making more money and the bills are bigger, but they're not getting rich.
It sucks. Like I'm in the process of undoing that. It's not like an overnight thing either. You can't just cut all your bills out. There's some you can, but some, you buy that expensive car, well, you bought that car for 6 years and it might not be worth what you owe yet. So you just kind of got to ride it out. Mm-hmm. So I'm finally getting out of some of those deals I made.
Well, as long as you can pay the bill, you're fine.
It's not a big deal, but like I made way more money 2 years ago, like double what my businesses make now. I was stressed out and miserable. So I actually fired my biggest customer because they weren't worth it to me anymore. And there's a lot to be said for being happy. Now, money makes it easier to find the things you're happy with. So like when they say money can't buy happiness, no, but it makes it easier to find the things that make you happy. But,
right, because it eliminates, it can, if used properly, can eliminate all these other stressors that other people that are stressed are worried about.
Right, it affords you the ability to find happiness. Right. But to tie it back in, that when I'm saying go find something that makes you happy, you're going to find something that you're like, I love this. Even though you're making hardly anything for you, like, I don't care. And that's when you can really become an expert, right? That 10,000 hour thing, like, it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert.
That's exactly where I'm at with photos, with the fucking, I dialed back. I was working with dogs for a minute. My last client it kind of discouraged me. We had a layup, and this motherfucker couldn't give a shit. Because I got to teach your dog for an hour, okay? And then when I come back next week, I have left you with homework. And when I come back, I can tell if you did it or not. Right. And we 3 weeks in a row, it's like, yeah, we should not really take him to it. And it's like, okay, if that's how you feel, have a nice day. Yeah. And that kind of discourage. Again, it's like, well, I'm not happy doing that now. Right. Fuck that, I got to go find some other shit. But yeah, it's that though. It's everything I do. I'm happy with doing, other than editing these podcasts. But I'm getting there.
I feel you. On my YouTube channel, I do not like to edit.
Yeah. Well, dude, actually, I got after this, I'll show you a technique that I learned last week. So the very first one, this is episode 5. Mm-hmm. My first one, it took me 10 hours to edit. The fourth one, same length and everything, 4 hours to edit. So I have done some cut, yeah. Well, because I was like, fuck, 10 hours. I was like, I don't even know if I can do a podcast again. I was like, I got to get better at this shit. But there's a couple of quick tricks that have lasted through, and it'll help you out big time too. What you've got? Tell them what kind of cars you got right now, and then I got a follow-up question on that.
Right. So currently, I have a 2019 BMW M5 Competition. I have a 2010 Audi R8. I have a 2012 Ford Raptor, and I just bought a 2019 Tesla Model S for the wife.
Fuck yeah! So you got some people's dream cars. You really do. So what's your dream? What was your first dream car that got you like into cars? You know what I mean?
Like the Lamborghini.
And you had a Lambo.
I had one, and it didn't live up to the hype.
Didn't live up to
I've had an Aston Martin. I had the Lambo. Now I got the R8. And part of it, like the Lambo I bought because I thought I would love it. Even though like I sat in it, I'm 6'5", right? So I sit in it. The button on my hat is touching the roof. Right. My shoulder's touching the window. Yeah. I'm hunched over like this.
Built for Italian midgets.
And my back hurts after 10 minutes. So I had it 6 months. My dream car, I only can survive for 6 months. I had the Aston Martin because it was a good deal. Like, if you could find, it was 2009 Aston Martin DBS. If you can find it in stick with these options, it's a solid buy. So I bought it, and I felt like I was in my grandpa's sports car. Nothing against them. They're amazing. I just was like, it's not me. It was like sophisticated, and I'm not. The Lambo was closer to me, and then I got out of the Lambo into the R8, which I like the R8, don't get me wrong. But it's the last car I'm going to buy because it was a good deal or whatever, because it's along the same lines you're saying. It's the closest to making me happy in that style of car, but the other ones I bought because they were good deals, or it was sort of expectations of society for me. You're making this much money, you need this and this. So since then, I've only got cars I love. So like the M5 I love. I love spending time with my kids, and they fit in it. They don't fit in these other cars. Not to say I won't have another one, but like I almost bought a McLaren 720S, and it was purely because that's where everyone's saying your next step is. You got to get one of these. You got to get one of these. So I was talking to the salesman. We'd figured out the financing, the trade-in, everything. Like all I had to do was agree. And I was like, I had this weird realization that I don't even like. Obviously, I probably really like the car, but am I buying it for me, or am I buying it because society expects it of me?
Right. Or am I buying it for me? And now it's the same thing as society. Or am I buying it for Instagram?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's a chance I'll drive it, and I'll probably end up with one. Like, from everyone I know that's been in one or bought one or driven one, they're like, this is the car to have. But I'm like, I don't know. If I don't know, why am I going to spend $350,000 on a car?
It's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
What do you think's the dopest car, the dopest, fastest car you could get for under $100,000?
So, I had a Jaguar F-Type R, and with a little bit, if you have $100,000 as a budget, you buy that, and then you do some upgrades to it. A GTR, hands down, because they're made to be modified. So those two are just the fastest. But the more I get into fast cars, the more I realize you're never going to be the fastest. Every year someone comes out now. I mean, there's a Koenigsegg that like averaged 277 miles an hour. So you're never going to be the fastest, and there are new ones faster than that. So I start looking at, do I like the way it looks? Do I like the way it feels? Because I was telling you yesterday, we were in my car. I'm like, the first thing I do now when I get in a car is I sit in the driver's seat and I look around. Do I like what this looks like? Because that's what you see. When you own the car and you're driving it, that's what you see, is that you holding the steering wheel. So does that look?
Yeah, you don't get that, like when you're playing like Forza or some shit like that. You don't get that outer car view. You get the first person view. That's it.
So it's like yesterday, like we were in the car and I'm like, man, this thing's got horrible blind spots. Like it looks cool the way the back slopes back to show the engine and stuff. I'm like, I didn't even realize it because I don't drive it that much. But like the blind spots in that car suck.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
But my favorite's Bugatti. I think hands down with the way they're working right now. They're coming out with the mass-produced one, but then like if you have enough money, they'll build you a one-off. They just built like was it $18 million car or whatever that's a one-off for someone.
Wasn't that didn't Tracy Morgan get his fucking Bugatti?
Dude, 45 minutes after he bought it, a lady in like a minivan hit it.
Yeah, it might have been a Honda CR-V, but it was a Honda.
Yeah, just
either way, yeah, sideswiped it. Oh God, hold on, fucking dog. Yeah, sideswiped it. Probably the insurance company's probably gonna put a hit out on that person. Yeah, it's like a full-time job trying to make my house not smell like shit with like 9 dogs here.
Smell my doggies?
So when I'll show you a video of her when I got her, she had no owner and was like bullied by these dogs for like 8 months. She's imported from Serbia.
Oh, okay.
And my male's imported from Bosnia. And so over there they just keep all the dogs together. Mm-hmm. And she's not an alpha. And so she's like, I mean, like you couldn't even touch anything besides her head, and even like I got a video, she wouldn't even get out of the car and shit. And so she's come a long way. I got her 4th of July last year, actually.
Our rescue wouldn't come in the house for like 4 or 5 days. We got him. He was drugged up from just getting fixed. He went in the backyard and he just wouldn't come in.
Just fucking chilling. You just put food out and stuff?
Yeah. And like left the door open constantly for him. He'd start to make his way in. Like we've had him 5 years, and he finally, like, when company comes over, he'll come down and check him out, and then finally let him pet him. So he's huge steps for him, but it's so sad that he's that broken.
Right, and when it's just like, hey, fucking people are the worst, you know. It's just the worst, you know. And I'm not gonna get too far into it right now because there could be a scandal brewing, but basically somebody I know bought a dog who's big into breeding, who basically runs a fucking, like, they have 6 dogs in a townhome.
Oh, wow.
And they don't walk them, and they're living in boxes and stuff like that. Well, she had a falling out with him and now has reported it. And it was like, it wasn't in her business interest to report that before. So I would like to encourage people to, if you see animal abuse, because keeping a dog in a fucking box all day is animal abuse, especially a working dog, you got to report it.
Yeah.
Be a rat. Who cares? That's fucking, you know, you're just enabling somebody else's awful behavior. And here's the worst part about it. These people in particular, they go out and show these dogs and stuff. And so it's all literally torturing an animal in a box for vanity's sake. And it's just disgusting. It's just, you know, it's not cool.
Yeah, I can't stand it. Like, until I have a bulldog now, until then I'd never, like, bought a puppy. I'd always rescued dogs. Mm-hmm. We had, like, a one-eyed pug that was kind of the same thing. Like, he was thrown in with bigger dogs, and they would just put food in one bowl, and it was like, fight for it. And so somehow in the scrum, his eye fell out, which is a common thing with pugs, surprisingly, because they're so bulgy. If you take them to the vet, they pop them back in. Most times they're good. No shit. So they didn't. So it was just dangling there. And so the neighbors called the vet, and so they're like, we're going to put you in jail unless you get this fixed. They're like, yeah, we'll just put him down. So then, like, the pug rescue got involved and stuff. But that's a good neighbor. They saw something that wasn't right. Like, they should have probably reported it a little sooner with the way they were treating the dogs. But he turned out to be, lived like 12 more years or something. He was a great dog. Right,
you know, and there's a fine line between that's none of my business and that's wrong. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's so wrong that I got to, like, now take time out of my day to address that.
Yeah, like, wrong. And then I have to get involved. So, like, if your neighbor just leaves their dog out a little more than you think is right, but they feed them, they take care of them, they're clean, they're not hurt, that's a bummer. Like, just try to give the dog love when you, like, come ask if you could pet it or something. But don't, like, report them for abuse, because that's not abuse. They just view dogs differently than you. Yeah, exactly. And you know, and they, at the end of the day, they are animals, but they just need to be just treated humanely. Like, that's all. Like, you know what I mean? They clean up after them and stuff, but they're outside. That's a bummer.
Yeah, well, it's like, okay, I got a nice overhang in my backyard. If I didn't have an overhang and I was leaving my fucking dogs out in the summer, you know what I mean? Or, you know what really pisses me off is when I see motherfuckers walking their dog and it's 100 degrees outside. I'm like, dude, I just want to get out of my car and fuck you up, dude. Like, that dog's... So the rule is this. Pro tip, you put the back of your hand on the concrete. If you can hold it there for 7 seconds, then you should walk your dog. If you cannot, then you should. Right. Because you wouldn't fucking be walking around on that barefoot. Yeah. You know?
I can't walk anywhere barefoot.
Yeah, me neither. I mean... Who wants to? Yeah. No, they got food or shoes for your dog now too. You can do that. Dude, speaking of that, one time we went up to Horsetail Falls. It's on the way to Tahoe. It's a really nice hike. It's great. Dude, we were probably still about a half mile out from coming back, and there was a kid there walking with his friends on a goddamn trail up the side of a rock with no shoes. I mean, and didn't have shoes in his hand. I mean, I'm talking no shoes. He looked like a caveman, for real. He had like the furrowed brow that goes across and everything. It was like, oh, you're cut from a fucking different cloth than the rest of us. His fucking feet looking like some leather shoes and shit. To go back to what you were saying earlier, talking about, you said having a partnership in a business, it's like a blessing and then also a pain in the ass at the same time. But you know, another thing, and, you know, I'm sure you can attest to this, it's everything that's a blessing comes with pain too. Yeah. Everything anything that's worth having is going to cost you a lot of time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears. That's where blood, sweat, and tears comes from. Right. You know what I mean? It takes that in order to get something great, in order to have a blessing, you know?
Well, it's like we were saying, the hard work. It's not the hard work that I enjoy. No one really likes working hard, but what you enjoy is the payoff from the hard work. So, you know, it's get married. It's a partnership. Everything's a partnership. And sometimes they're not going to see things your way. And it's just, because your brain only understands stuff one way. So when you start to understand, maybe if I tell them this in a way their brain works, which is a huge step for me as a boss as well, like, I need to quit making them try to see things my way. I need to learn how to say things their way. So when you have an employee, don't train them the way you think. Figure out how they think and train them that way. You'll get way better results. So it's kind of the same with partnership.
Yeah.
Like, so it eliminates some of the blood, sweat, and tears from it. But you still, I mean, you're always going to have it because you're two separate people and you're going to have disagreements.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing too. I think that Instagram, social media in general, has done for society. It's not like it's like, oh, it's this thing's fault.
Right.
It's just that. Whereas before, people had to work through their problems because it was just like, hey, we're married. All we have is us. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, that's all we got. I don't have, there's not 19 guys from high school that are in the inbox, going, hey, what's going on? Fucking, there was none of this shit. To where it would give somebody the go, maybe I should just leave. You know, instead of working through the problem. Everything takes work. I've had, so my last failed relationship, it was, if nobody lost any respect for each other, it just ended up not working. But it came to the point where it's like, we're gonna not agree on so many things that this isn't gonna work.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta pick the amount of time.
When you got no one to cut,
yeah,
it's done. Like previously, I ended like 4 or 5 businesses. I realized I was just chasing money, and I'm lucky enough that I've put the work in to not have to chase money. So I was starting these businesses. I like watches, so I was buying and selling watches, trying to make money doing that. I was going to do it with cars, and just because I knew I could make money there, and it wasn't like a passion I had. It was actually like annoying how much work it was. So I just when I had this realization of what I wanted to do, and that I didn't have to chase money because my bills are paid, and a little extra. So that's when I gave my brother the detail business I have. I just closed down the rest and kept the ones I liked, that I actually liked and enjoyed doing. And so it's one of those, like, you just be done. Sometimes it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that comes with saying no with no apologies. It's all on the same tip. You just got to be done, and there's some things worth working through the bullshit for.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then that's what makes somebody. That's a factor in the are you good or are you great? If you know when it's time.
Right. Yeah. If it's hard and you want to quit, that's one thing. But if it's just, this isn't worth it, like, no matter how much work I put in, it's never going to be worth it.
Yeah.
It's not. But so that's where you have to really
try
running harder.
So running multiple businesses, having a family, 3 kids and a wife, how do you balance it?
I'm still working on it. But when I was a kid, I had ADHD or whatever you called it back then. So I was I couldn't help but jump from one thing to the next to the next. So I naturally am able to be focused pretty heavy on one thing and just jump to the next. But as I get older too, I realize it's a lie to say that you're a good multitasker. Your brain just can't handle multitasking. So you have to have triggers. So I'm working on setting up, it's a thing called like the 6-hour workday, but basically I split my day up into multiple smaller days. And so each business gets its own workday out of it. And when I'm done, when that time's up, like time blocking it or whatever, like, I make a note where I'm at. So when it's that time, that business or subject matter's turn, I can read that line and pick up. So you don't lose. That's why multitasking kills, is it takes that time to get back up to speed where you're at. So you got to learn what'll trigger you to get back into it as quickly as possible. So my short attention span's helping, but learning to focus it in those short bits is the key.
Yeah. I needed to hear that too. I'm the same way. That's why I was telling you. It's like the get a hobby thing I got going. It's like, no, I got to get like 9 hobbies because I might play guitar every day for 2 weeks and then I don't play for 4 days.
Right.
But then I get back on, and it was a necessary break too. Sometimes you take a necessary break and then you come back and you're actually better, fresher, stronger because you needed that break.
You burn out.
You were grinding yourself down. Yeah. So that is important to have. That's why you should have multiple things, because if you just focus on one thing, you're gonna. We all burn out. Like, that is a certainty. I don't give a fuck who
Even
you
if
are.
it's joy. Like, I like to play video games. I haven't played video games in a couple of months because I was playing them too much to where my brain was just like, all right, we need to stop that for a little bit.
Yep.
I'll go back to them and play them some more, but right now it's like, nah.
Yeah, I sold my Xbox a while ago. I am hyper competitive, and I get super fucking mad, and I had a really good day, and I broke my controller after losing 3 games in a row at Madden, and it was like, okay, we're done here. This ruined my good day. I had a good day, and now I'm so pissed because I'm so competitive. I can't take a loss well, and so I got rid of that. Will I play video games again? Of course I will.
It's crazy for me. I'm not competitive on everything but video games. I literally don't care if I'm the worst person in a video game because I more get the enjoyment of just playing the game. It reminds me like when you're a kid and you're just zone out.
I would say it's like if you and I played like Call of Duty or whatever, I wouldn't be that way. But it's just Madden because I know I'm good at it. And so it's like if somebody beats me, if they fuck me up, and I knew it, and I
better.
Well, if I knew that they're better, I'm not even mad. Dude.
Right.
I'm like, fuck yeah, I needed that ass kicking. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But if I feel that I should be winning, I'm so pissed. I'm infuriated. You know what I mean? Like I get this way. The only game I play now, I play a lot of chess, and so I play a 3-minute time on chess because it's a fight. Sometimes I can't sit there and wait for somebody to make a move for 7 minutes. Like, I don't have that.
Right.
Forget 3 minutes. It's like
doing it.
You run out of time, you lose. So, it just keeps it moving. I can play a game while I take a dump. And then,
keeps your competitive nature.
And strategy, and chess is good. It's not a benchmark for how smart you are, but it is a good brain exercise. I feel like because you're having, especially like I'll play chess in the sauna.
Okay.
3 minutes at a time. So now I got all this heat, and it's fucking stressful, and now I got to make these moves on time, and it's it's a good exercise.
Yeah. Well, being competitive is not bad if you can learn how to harness it
not
the
be an
right
asshole.
way.
No, being competitive is great. Just don't be a fucking asshole too.
Well, it's like one of my things that a lot of people don't like about business. I'm like, you have to have an ego. Egos aren't bad, because if I have an ego that I think I'm the best at what I do, when I tell you what I do, you're gonna believe it wholeheartedly that I'm the best. But you have to learn how to feed that ego. Like, if you feed it with knowledge to improve upon yourself, you're good. If you feed it with Instagram stories that I'm amazing and look at me, that's negative. And it goes from ego, like a positive ego, it goes to, like, I just lost the word. Like arrogant.
Yeah.
You can't be arrogant. You can have an ego. Ego's positive, arrogance is negative.
Right. No, that's right on point. It was funny you said, talking about the ego. I was thinking, I was like, yeah, my ego got so big, I can't even have any more roommates in my house.
The best part of that, though, is it's not even so much you can't have a roommate. You just haven't found one that's on the same path as you. Like, it's the hardest thing. Like,
no, this is the time. I'll never have a roommate again.
Yeah.
I'm 30, and I was telling him, too, because, we're going through a transition period over here at the house. I've lived with many men. I've lived in a goddamn open bay with 40 swinging stinking ass dicks in the middle of Afghanistan, and it's time that I have my own peace, my own solitude. I'm going to turn that into a photography studio. I'm going to turn my garage into a jam. This is my shit now. You know what I mean? Like, fucking.
Well, it's a good push.
And
too.
I'm 30.
You're ready for your push.
Yeah.
You need that push. Like, I don't have that extra money coming in. I got the push now.
Right.
Now you'll find a way to make the money.
I got to make $20 a day extra.
It's fine. Yeah, it's $20.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he pays $20 a day to stay here, essentially. And
when you break it down, it's not that much.
No, it's not. You just got to get off your ass a little. Maybe get off your ass and
it's less than $1 an hour. You have to figure out.
Or get up an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Get up an hour earlier, and or maybe go to bed an hour earlier.
Well, it's the things. I used to be the guy who stayed up till 4 at night, and now I'm the guy. I'm in the process of it, getting up at 5 in the morning, and that's mostly because I have kids, right?
How much sleep do you get?
Usually I'm good with 6, like tops. Like, I can deal with 5, but I can't deal with 5 consistently. Mm-hmm. Like, if I do 6 every day, I'm solid.
That 5 consistently will compound, and you just end up fucking.
Well, and some days I'll do 5, 5, 5, and then Sunday I just sleep extra to make up. As long as you can make it up at some point, your body will recover. But those last few 5 days, you're less productive than if you just do 6, 6, 6. For me, my wife needs 8.
Yeah. No, so it's a fact that people that sleep between 7 and 8 hours a night live longer than people that sleep 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Ultimately, see, right now I'm grinding, I'm struggling. I don't have the time to sleep 8 hours.
Right.
I can't. I'm not afforded that time yet. I'm working toward that because ultimately, I would like to turn my phone off and then sleep for 8 hours, and then I turn my phone on again instead of keeping my phone by my head. Fuck, money might be on the line. I have bills to pay. I have to pay them. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is.
There's no option.
There's no option. The sleep
I've
is.
been there. I mean, I was on call 24/7. That phone rang at 4 a.m. Didn't matter. I had a crying baby that just got to sleep. I have to go do this.
You gotta
now.
go. And that's okay though. That's what that builds the fucking character. And reading that David Goggins book, he's like, comfort is just the enemy of it all.
I just started listening to it on Audible because you recommended it. So far, I'm like, oh man.
Oh, he had a fucked up deck handheld dealt to him.
That's right where he just became a SEAL. Or he's going through the SEAL training is where I'm at in the book. And so it just got through his childhood. And anytime you think you got a messed up childhood, just go listen to this book.
Yeah, listen to David Goggins. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's called Can't Hurt Me. What was great, and I'm going to figure out how to start this little book club. Not going to be a book club, but like a book recycle ship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where like for instance, yesterday, I finished the book yesterday. I put it up on my story. I said, hey, $10, whoever wants it. My homegirl down in LA, she goes, $10. I go, well, give me 3 for shipping too, but you know what I mean? I'm going to take care of that. And, I went to the post office. It was $14 total. I don't care. I want somebody else to get the book, and then it's not collecting dust on my fucking...
Yeah, I give away every book I read. There's this book that I love. It's by one of my mentors. His name's Pejman Gadimi. Everyone calls him PJ. It's called Third Circle Theory. It's really, it fucks your brain up mindset-wise. If you read it, you can't undo what you read. So sometimes you're like, why did I read this book? I was blissfully unaware of what I was doing. And he woke me up, and now you're just, constantly fuck. I've given away 8 copies of it.
Okay.
I'll buy it and read it, listen to it. Cause every time it's one of those, you get more as your brain's ready to hear more. So I constantly give it away. Cool.
And bring you back to the center. Yeah, I felt that way. I've gone through 12 Rules for Life twice by Jordan Peterson. It's just because I remember, I was 3 chapters in and listening to it, just going, I'm a different person. I'm a better person for hearing this now. Now this is what it is.
Right.
And then there's a lot of good things. You hear a lot of reaffirmations. You already knew this shit. Maybe you didn't know how to articulate it or whatever into words, but it's oh, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Now some great thinker I'm listening to, I've already been on that path. That makes me feel really good.
He found a way to verbalize what you thought, and that's the best, because now you can express it to someone else.
Yep. It's cool. So I was walking dogs up. It's in Fair Oaks. They have, it looks like a mailbox, but it's an open door on the front of this thing, and it's a book exchange.
Yeah.
And you take one and leave one.
My kids love that.
It's the coolest. I
never let them take them, though, because they're adult books, but not dirty adult books, but they're
right. You're not going to get nothing from it. Yeah.
Stephen King novel was in there one time. Oh, this one's big. Can I get that? I'm like, no. Leave that for someone who knows how to read that book.
Right. Yeah, Stephen King's one. So I've dialed back. I'm done watching. I watch a show at night, with my chick on FaceTime and shit. But aside of that, I don't watch shit. I've deprogrammed myself from news. I will watch sports. Because I love competition.
Right.
And I've been. I used to really care about sports, dude. If my team lost, I'd be burnt, dude. I'd be pissed. And now it's I could give a fuck about a game.
Yeah, that sucks.
It was out of my control. And see, I've learned that I'm a control freak. And so I only care about shit I can control. And so, but I do, and I'll throw some money on it from time to time. Small bets, $5, $10, $20, because it feels good to be right. But aside of that, I will not watch sports. Fucking the First Take or any of that bullshit.
Right.
Because this dawned on me, dude. It is more mindless than reality TV.
Yeah.
It is worse for your brain. There is nothing you can take from hearing 3 guys who didn't play in a game talk about a game or drama or any of this other shit. You will take nothing from it. There's literally no piece of anything in there that you could apply to real life. Even reality TV, there's dynamic.
Right.
There's
still a little bit of real life.
There's still something that you can learn. You can, at least with reality TV, you can go, that's what I don't want to be like. With the sports shit, it's mindless filler. It's noise. And it's, what's funny is because I have a lot of friends that are really into it, you know, and it's like we've all gotten into arguments over it. And it's like people act like they're smart because they know all this shit, but it really has zero impact on the bottom line. It has zero impact on anything unless you're a fucking journalist. Unless that's your game.
Those shows, I quit watching them. I got rid of them altogether. I used to be the guy who had SportsCenter on repeat, like just always. I could tell you everything that happened in every sport, even if it wasn't a sport I enjoyed. And I quit when I started telling people things like it was my opinion, when it was really the opinion of the talking head I heard. And I'm like, I didn't even take the time to formulate my own opinion because this guy told me what to think. And so
it sounded kind of good, so I went with it.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense to me, but I didn't even take the chance to look at the other side. You know, I just Skip Bayless or whoever that just has these. They just say things to get you to talk about them because it makes them valuable to the network. They don't even believe what they're telling you sometimes. They're just saying, what can make social media
pop,
tag me and hashtag me, even if it's hate. ESPN doesn't care because they get ratings from this guy.
Well, no, they're all for negativity. So I've unfollowed every news thing except for on Twitter. I follow 2 local news things, right?
Oh, yeah?
And what I've learned, I'm about to unfollow them too. Because what I've learned, like CBS Sacramento 13 and then like KCRA. And CBS Sacramento especially, dude, it's like guy kills his roommate's dog. And then I go, where did this happen? And I go, click on his New Jersey.
Yeah.
Why are you guys sharing this? Like, and then it's all negative shit. And I'll tweet back and talk a bunch of shit. I go, like, everything you share is negative, and it's not in Sacramento. Like, what the fuck is this? And it's just they want to get their clicks. They got to get the clicks. There's a bottom line on the clicks.
Because you won't click on, you know, a guy donates $1,000 to a
or even like
family that's house burns down.
Even like a carjacking here in Sacramento. That might be something. Maybe there's a rash of carjackings here or something like that. It's like you're going to share something awful that's over the top, like some Florida shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So people will click on it. Versus
even
actually
the game that got invented.
What?
You type your birthday and a Florida man and hit enter and see what happens.
That's good. Adam Carolla's podcast, they do a fucking segment on there called they take a news thing and they don't tell you where it's from. It's called Florida or Germany, and it's how fucking weird can it be?
Right.
But yeah, now I lived in Florida for 3 years. If it was closer to California, I would live in Florida, but it's not.
I'm trying to convince my wife to move there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing it for business related, but also like it's like I was telling you yesterday. The state of California is amazing. The actual state itself, but the politics and the people running it are to the point where I can't be here anymore.
Right. Well, you know, and I think it's to half of the fault of them, but then also to the fact that there is so many fucking people here, and there's just not. You can't. It's like why Joe Rogan says being the president's a silly job.
Yeah.
You can't manage 300 million people. So it's the same thing on just a slightly smaller scale. You can't fucking manage all these people with this, you know, and with these fairy tale fucking ass like ideas that come up. It's
we're
like,
listening to that tiny little bit of people who just are so loud. The rest of us are here doing what we do, and we're like, that's their job. Let them do their job. And we're missing the part where we're letting these other people who think their crazy thing is how all of us should live our life, and we're letting it happen because we're not being involved. But that's also why I turn the news off, is because I get angry.
Yeah,
when I watch the news. I can't
angry.
tell you anything that happens.
No, I don't anymore. And so it's funny. My aunt is like, she's like 60, and that's what she does. That's what older people.
Right.
You know, tell did you see this? And I'm like, sometimes I do because I see it online, and then usually if it's something fucky, I'll go and like research it, and then I'll have something for it. It's like, or it's like, no, there's a massacre in like Sudan. Didn't hear about it. I heard about it. Some people changed their profile pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my father-in-law's that guy. He wakes up at like 4 a.m. to watch the news before work.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
Well, it's like I care. I don't care that those people died. Okay, I don't. Is it sad? Yes, it is. But like, if I stopped to care about every fucking thing, I would get nothing done, and I'd be probably broke like these other motherfuckers that are sitting there sharing all this shit.
What I say is, I care, but not enough to it makes it sound horrible, right? I care that someone died, but I don't. It doesn't touch me personally in any way, so I move on and don't put conscious thought into it.
Why
Because
should you?
I've got to worry about me and mine.
Well, think about how many fucked up things happen every day. If you fucking went down the list of all that, you would be so consumed with negative shit that doesn't affect you
Right.
that you get nothing done.
Well, yeah, okay, so now I need to start caring about every country where someone died. I don't have... My brain can't handle that, first
Right.
off. You need to put positivity in your life, not more negativity.
Well, and it's so flavor of the week, too. You know, like you get a cathedral burns down in France, all right? And it's like, you know, everyone's like, oh my God, it's fucking air. It's like, first of all, and I did take a turn for the dark, but like, you know how many kids probably got fucked in that thing? There's probably a bunch of
Yeah,
people
there's probably negative all over that.
and there's people that are stoked that thing burned down. People that they're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
The
Like,
crazy part, that church has so much money, it doesn't matter anyway.
right? They don't pay taxes.
They have their own country.
We should start a church.
Yeah.
So we don't pay
Right.
taxes.
Just-
No, we can double down. Okay, so California gave out like $4 billion to the homeless problem. We're gonna start a homeless church.
Right.
That way we can get the fucking government bread and then not pay any taxes.
And then start a non-profit to teach them,
Yes.
because non-profits you can take money from.
Yeah.
As the person who runs the nonprofit, you could take as much money from it as you want and not pay taxes. So some of these horrible charities, they're
Yeah.
nonprofits, so the people that run them make more than big like CEOs
Oh,
make.
some of them are cutting themselves a $500,000
It's
salary.
like that one the NFL backs, the cancer one. They like so little of that money actually goes to cancer research, and the
Mhm.
executives make so much money.
Yep. That's they don't do that anymore.
They don't.
I think it was the last 2 years. Well, because it came out, it was like
Right.
you guys are scum.
Yeah,
Like,
ooh.
well, or during that ALS, ice bucket challenge.
Mhm.
They found out that only 10% of the money they raised was going toward the research.
Yeah.
And it's the same across the board. I think that's why it's like important to help smaller charities, always smaller ones, because those ones literally they're like, fuck, we just need something so we can go get
Right.
this little thing. They have like a list of things they need. Whereas when you're helping Wounded Warrior Project, all right, it's the same concept. It's the
Yeah.
same model. Once it gets big enough, once anything gets
Yeah,
big
they
enough.
started off with good intentions, and then they got big enough that you have to hire a business person to run it for you, and that business person is
Yeah.
a business person, and they're going to make money.
So if you want to donate to vets, I would suggest, like I've done a couple of shows, and we did clothing drives for them. The Sacramento Stand Down, Veteran Stand Down, they're great. They help the homeless vets out here. You know what I mean? But it's a small organization, and it's a local one, and you're helping the homeless of Sacramento. That's not getting filtered into some other thing where it's going to some centralized account. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, this is an organization here in town that needs it. And I think that's important to know. David Goggins, he started running those ultras and shit because there's basically a Wounded Warrior project, but specifically for special forces.
Okay.
And so, obviously, way smaller because
Yeah.
the amount of people that are, special forces is like, it's like 1% of 1% of 1%.
Yeah, and they see like so much worse because they're the ones who are going
Right.
into
Well,
stuff.
what he was saying, like, he's like, well, fuck, these guys go die on the battlefield, and their family still needs to get paid, and the military life insurance is only $400,000. I mean, I say only $400,000, but when your fucking breadwinner of your family
Right.
fucking dies, and then 8 years, that $400,000, if you were to put that as like this guy's salary, it's gone in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, or maybe a little bit more, but still,
Yeah.
eventually it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not going to uphold anybody for any substantial amount of time.
Well, and just straight breaking it down, like for what he did, that's not enough.
Exactly. Yeah, not even
Well,
close.
not even he always. Like
Right.
they did. What they
Yeah.
did. It's
Yeah.
not nearly enough for what they did for us to be sitting here talking.
Right. And, and so I think it's big, find what you like, find whatever you like, and then donate to them. Go work with them. Go volunteer an hour. Hey, instead of going and getting fucked up, go volunteer an hour of your fucking weekend to go do some shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never know. And this is what I tell people too. You never know who you're going to meet. You never.
Right.
Never. I was doing the dog walking shit. I've met like 3 people who I'm now friends with.
Yeah.
Who I just showed up at the door and I'm like, I'm here to walk your dog, and then we get to talking and now we're friends.
Right.
So-
Just do it. Makes you feel good. Like my daughter's the last day of school, they chose, like they've always want to walk home, and I'm like, we're in a hurry. So this day I'm like, all right, let's walk home. They want to walk home and pick up trash in the neighborhood on the way home. Like,
there you go.
to me, it was miserable. But then, like, it made them feel so good to show, like, they made me save their little bags of trash to show everyone that came to visit for, like, the next week. Like,
That's
look what we
fantastic.
did. So, like, something like that gives you that little kid happy feeling. Just find that and do that. And then it doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, then it doesn't even matter where the money went because you feel good about it. And that's really why this one guy said something that makes sense to me. It's like you have to be selfish to be selfless. So you're doing that selfless thing for the selfish satisfaction. So as long as you get that happy feeling at the end of the day,
That's
even
the
if
rub.
only 10 cents of your dollar went to help, you still feel good about it, and 10 cents went there.
Yeah, well, as the saying goes, something's always better than nothing.
Right.
Hey, thanks for coming, dude.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Work hard, do what you're supposed to, work hard. Stay off the dope pool, work hard. Learn to say no to, learn from